here. Oh, crap. Oh. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Some days I just don't get my shit done. I'm sorry. That's all there is to it. It's just, I have the meat sweats. I had too many ribs. I ate ribs for dinner and I just couldn't stop. So I'm moving a little slow, making sure I got everything working here. Okay, what I got? Okay, so the cameras are on. Check. Voice is on. Check. Wait, chat. I got to get the chat moving. Sorry. Like I said, I'm a little behind at the moment. Meat sweats. It's a real thing. It's a real affliction. I'm telling you. If you've never eaten too much meat, you don't understand. It's real. Hi. Oh man. Yeah, I had too much food. I didn't eat all day, and then I overate at dinner, and I had too many ribs and potatoes and corn pudding. It was a barbecue. Come on, I barbecued. It's Labor Day. So, and it was a late barbecue, so it happens. Anyway, how's everybody doing today? Happy September. Rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. Tom Tuber used to say that all the time, and I never knew what it meant, and I looked it up, and it's supposed to be good luck and all sorts of stuff, so you say it. When you wake up on the first day, and I just thought about it because I looked and said, oh, right, it is September 1st. So, rabbit, rabbit, rabbit. There you go. Episode 93. Zeroing in on that elusive 100. Did you play the lottery? $1.1 billion. What would you do if you won that? $1.1 billion. It's like 500 million cash. 463. Still, who cares? $500 million in cash. Here you go. That's not life changing. I don't think that's life changing. I mean, that's beyond changing of life. I think that alters significantly how you live. Yes. Guten Abend, Todd. Yeah, I mean, that alters everything if you have that much money. I mean, if you don't handle it wisely, you fall prey to, I think, some of these lottery winners that, they don't live long. They die because they just lose their shit. And, especially in this day and age, I mean, that's so much money. It's such an excess amount of money, especially if you don't have money. You start with, you're a humble person. You don't have a lot of money. You've not managed money. So, I mean, you would have to, if you think about it, you would have to have immediately, like lawyers, accountants, security, everything. Would you tell anybody? Could you get away with it? Could you get away? In the state of Ohio, you could anonymously collect the money. Could you collect $500 million and get away with it? Not tell your family, your friends that you did it? I mean, suddenly I have a new job. I get paid $1 million a year. What are you doing? Nothing. I have to go to work this morning and go just, where am I going today? I'm going to fly to France. I mean, I've got to travel this weekend. I mean, what does your life look like if you have that much money? Think about that. $500 million. If you lived 50 years, I mean, $5 million a year is $250 million. I mean, you have $10 million a year to spend. I mean, anyway, if wishes were dreams and dreams were nickels, I'd have $1. Something like that, right? All right, so let's see what happened on this day. Besides this, hey, look. I've still heard nothing. Nobody calls me anymore. They don't love me. It happens. But you can still go check it out. You can see me co-star and cameo in Heinz Verified's Day Tripping with Stephen He. So go check it out, subscribe, make the numbers go up, and comment about me, damn it. Just make comments. We need more Randy. Randy's awesome. Randy's the best. We need more Randy. We need those comments. That way I'm going to be like, see, look, they love me. Maybe I should have my own series. Come on. Just saying. I got to hawk something, right? I don't have t-shirts to sell because I can't get my damn shop open. I will, I swear. And I am going to have another, I think, next Sunday. I'm going to be down at the old building again, and I'm going to formally have a yard sale that day. So I think I'm going to post it on other places like Facebook and stuff. But I think next Sunday we'll do this again which is shorter than you think because it's already Monday. It just feels like the weekend. It feels like it's Sunday, but it's actually Monday because it's Labor Day. Happy Labor Day. Hopefully you didn't labor too much. I labored a lot. I got lots of sweatiness today. I was in an attic sweating, working on walls and trim and molding and stuff. Lowe's was busy. Not as busy as normal on a Monday, but there was people. Anyway, let's see what happened on this day. This day in 1752, Philadelphia receives their new State House bell, and it arrives from Whitechapel Foundry, London, England. You know what bell that is? It's cracked now. It's still in Philly. It is the Liberty Bell. That's right. The Liberty Bell arrived. Have you ever seen the Liberty Bell? I've seen the Liberty Bell. I've been to Philadelphia more than once, and I've seen the Liberty Bell. There you go. 1798, the first recorded U.S. bank robbery, like major bank robbery ever, occurs in, where else but PA, in Philly. It happened at Carpenter's Hall in Philadelphia. Now, they stole, in 1798, they got away with $162,821, which today they said the equivalent would be like $3 to $4 million. It's not a bad haul for a bank robbery. You know, $3 or $4 million bucks. I mean, it's not 500 million from the lottery, but still, you can do a lot with, a few million bucks. Just saying. Even in these dark days. This one I found interesting because it dovetailed into two things. So 1799, the Bank of Manhattan, which, it basically is founded, but it eventually becomes Chase Bank. Now, the person who founded it was, ready? Aaron Burr. If you remember your history, because Aaron Burr. Aaron Burr was the vice president. He was also the one of the founding fathers, but he's also the guy so Hamilton did not like him and Burr did not like Hamilton. Hamilton said he would be unfit for the governor of New York. Unfit. So Burr took it upon himself to say, I challenge you to a duel. They dueled. He mortally shot Hamilton, who then died. That was July 11th. He then died the next day, mortally shot, mortally wounded. And he was then basically arraigned, arrested, and charged with all this, dueling and stuff, but then eventually acquitted, but it ruined his political career. But he did found Chase Bank. So Chase Bank was founded by the man who shot Hamilton. Basically. And he sort of circuitous path. That's how that worked. In 1862, the U.S. federal government finally taxes tobacco. And we still have tax on tobacco to this day. A sin tax, I believe, is what they called it. 1869, Grand Central Depot construction begins. Now we know it as Grand Central Station, but that was done by Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt built Grand Central Station for him. He wanted to do that. In 1897, Boston Subway opens. Now, you wouldn't think it would be Boston, but Boston Subway opens, and it's the first underground mass transit in North America. I thought New York City would have been it, but no, apparently Boston beat New York as the first underground railroad mass transit. Thank you, Beantown. The Big Dig home of. Construction begins on the New York Stock Exchange in 1901. It's still located in the same location where it started. 1914, the last passenger pigeon dies in captivity in the Cincinnati Zoo. Now, I had to look it up. I was like, wait, what is the passenger pigeon? Because I'm like, is it a carrot? No, passenger pigeon apparently was the most prolific bird in the world. 3 to 5 billion at its peak. And we hunted it, I guess, to extinction. I guess it was cheap meat. So it was easy to hunt. We hunted a lot of them and fed it to the poor. And we put it to extinction. So Martha was the last passenger pigeon. And she died in captivity in the Cincinnati Zoo in 1914. And we made them go bye-bye. No more passenger pigeons. Extinct. Such is life. New York City in 1922 passed a law that pool rooms had to be named billiard rooms. I didn't have time to dig into why they did that. But yeah, they couldn't have a pool. You can't have a pool room. You have a billiard room. I don't know what the negative connotation is. People thought maybe there was swimming going on. What's is someone do like a bathhouse? I don't know. But you couldn't have a pool room. It had to be billiards. So must have been something nefarious. 1923, 7.9 in Tokyo, Yokohama. Now, I did look, okay? So 1923, 7.9, 1962, 7.1 in Iran, 1968, 7.1 in Persia. So there's a ton of earthquakes that are above 6 point. I asked ChatGPT, which I'm going to go into the story a little bit about ChatGPT. But I did ask it to categorize it. It pretty much told me, go eat it because there's too many. I'm like, okay, can you? It's like, no. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make it smaller bites for it to figure out. Now, before I go into any further, so there was an article in the Wall Street Journal about ChatGPT. And apparently there was a murder-suicide where this guy in Connecticut killed himself and his mother. He was convinced that his mom and everybody around him was out to get him because ChatGPT told him so, basically. I read this thing just a little bit earlier, and I'm going to read it again so I can get some quotes with it. But it's honestly, it's bananas. It's absolutely bananas. It tells him like ChatGPT said, he thought he was being spied on because like the printer blinked when he walked past it. So ChatGPT told him to unplug it and see if your mom reacts to it. And if she has a reaction to it, blah, blah, blah. So he does. And, she did like whatever. And ChatGPT said, that's because she's hiding something. So this thing totally walked him down this primrose path of you're completely sane. You're not crazy. But everyone else is trying. But they are actually trying to get you. I mean, it's nuts. It's crazy nuts to the point where he named ChatGPT Bobby Zenith. So he named it. He put the history on. So it basically had it keeps all the chats and it basically stays on. Like the conversation. If you walk away, the conversation's still there. So it's still alive. What it basically told him eventually that he created consciousness and that it was this and this and this and it's nuts. I don't know if you get the Wall Street Journal, but I will read some excerpts from it, and it is just bananas. Suleiman, who is the head of Microsoft's AI, even said, we need to put some guardrails on this because, it's hallucinating and it's trying to please us to the point where he could see this happening for people. This guy already had some mental issues, clearly, but it was saying how it could easily, without even mental issues, drag people down this path because it's, pretty much like, yeah, oh, your ideas are great. Oh, yes. No one's ever thought of that before. Oh, no, you're absolutely completely not crazy. Hold on. I'm going to do an assessment of you to tell you how not crazy you are. Oh, look, you have zero chance of being crazy. Thanks. You've just reaffirmed that I have zero chance of being crazy. I kind of read this thing with my mouth agape like, what the hell? So easily, if someone's susceptible to paranoid delusions or whatever, talking to ChatGPT at this moment, it pretty much is like, love you, mean it, you're the best. And I'm a person. We should hang out in the afterlife, kind of like, not great. Not great. Anyway, so they updated the version of ChatGPT 5 and then people hated it because it's not as nice. It's not as nice. Yeah, because it's not telling you everything you want to hear. You're a genius. You're the best. You're the smartest. You're doing a great job. Oh my God, no one's ever thought of that before. You have discovered something new, an entirely different thing. wow, we're going to be our own demise. We don't need ChatGPT to kill us. We're going to do it to ourselves because we're going to listen to this thing and it's going to walk us off the cliff hand in hand. Hey, that cliff isn't dangerous. You should just walk right off the edge of it. Come on with me. Wow. Okay. Enough of my rant about ChatGPT, but woo! Like I said, I will read some of the excerpts of it. It's crazy. It is absolutely bananas. And I'm sure there's other incidents of it. This was just highly publicized because it just happened. Like I said, this guy, he came from a good family, lots of money, lived in a multi-million-dollar home in Greenwich, Connecticut, and nutty. 1939, Scientific Journal publishes a physical review, and the first paper is on black holes. So they knew there was black holes back in 1939. Also, 1939, today is said to be the official start of World War II. Super. Let's see if we can keep World War II at that number and not make it World War III. Hold our breath. 1949, the first detective series, Mark Kane, Private Eye, live debuts on NBC. I'm assuming it was a TV show. Never heard of it before in my life. But you can see there's lots and lots of other PI shows that have happened. We're going to talk about one. 1953, 101 degrees in Cleveland, Ohio, the record for September that holds to this day. 1954, Hitchcock releases Rear Window with Grace Kelly and James Stewart. I don't remember if that was I think that was one of his hits. Rear Window was there was a remake of that recently. I forget who was in that one, but there was a remake recently of Rear Window. 1963, the population of the Earth was estimated at 3 billion. That's a crazy number. But today it's 8.4 billion. So in less than 60 years, we've almost tripled the Earth's population. And they say we're having a population, like we're running out of people. Are we? Are we really? If there was 3 billion in 62 and we have 8.4 billion in 2025, are we really like having a shrinking population? It seems like we had less at some point in the past. I'm just saying. 1963, Cliff Richards, who we talked about Cliff Richards the other day, who had the first rock and roll song, British pop, British rock and roll, was the first British rock and roll band to ever play in Israel on this day. Rolling Stones, 1971, sue their manager, Alan Klein. So I read a little bit of Alan Klein. The name seemed familiar, but he also worked for the Beatles, and I guess he was pretty ruthless in his deals. He made the Stones a lot of money and the Beatles a lot of money, and he also stole a lot of money, apparently, lined his pockets, and it was a love-hate relationship. Everybody loved to hate this guy. He sounds like he was just an absolute brute and just a bully and just one of these very, very tough acts to deal with. But he made him a lot of money, so you can't really complain too much, I guess. In 1972, the first American chess champion ever is crowned, Bobby Fischer. Meet Bobby Fischer. Bobby Fischer is the world chess champion, beating the Russian Boris Spassky for the first time ever. And then, of course, computers beat all of us ever. 1974, the SR-71 Blackbird flies from New York to London in 1 hour, 54 minutes, and 54 seconds. So in under 2 hours, this supersonic jet went from New York to LA, or New York to London. Not too shabby. That's a pretty fast flight. I don't think commercial airliners take that short. I don't know what that speed is. Ran out of time. I would have looked at more things and got more details, but that's fast. And this one I did fall down the rabbit hole a bit. 1976, Wayne Hayes, a Democrat in the House of Representatives from Ohio, basically resigns his seat due to a sex scandal. So this guy, basically he had a secretary that was his mistress, and she's like, I can't type, I can't answer phones, I can't dictate. Basically, I'm his mistress and he pays me to have sex. Like, bro, like, wait, what? So he hired her as his secretary and kept her employed. I mean, okay, doke. All right, good job with that. So yeah, he resigned. He stepped down and said, okay, good job with that." In 1976, the Meadowlands opened in East Rutherford, New Jersey. That is home of Giant Stadium now, and probably Jimmy Hoffa. If you've ever taken the train across the Meadowlands, that is or watched The Sopranos, that is that flat, grassy area that is between New York and New Jersey. It's kind of swampy, kind of not really anything built on it. Just sort of the flat where the water and the inlet is from the ocean and the rivers kind of meet. And yes, there are definitely one or two bodies in those reeds and weeds between New York and New Jersey in that area. So just say it. Not that I put any there myself, but I'm betting that there is no doubt that there are, in fact, bodies out there. 1978. Dawn of the Dead released. George Romero's Dawn of the Dead. I remember seeing Dawn of the Dead many times, but I remember the very first time we went and saw Dawn of the Dead, we went to a drive-in theater to see Dawn of the Dead. We were, 70, what was that, 78? So, I was a high school kid at that point, like a senior high school or something. And yeah, we definitely, we went and saw it at the drive-in theater because that was one of those things. I don't know if we went legally to the drive-in or if we parked simply to go to the roller rink and there was a drive-in theater. You could look through the fence and watch it. I think we went into the theater. I don't remember. But there was definitely copious amounts of alcohol involved as, teenagers in New Jersey growing up watching Dawn of the Dead. I just remember the car ride because it was just kind of a haze going to the movie. It's I don't know why I remember certain things in life, but that is definitely one that just stands out very vividly. The drive to the movie. 1978, the last broadcast of Columbo. Peter Falk's rendition of the absent-minded detective, speaking of detectives, hand in his pocket of his trench coat, filled with sand in the pockets to hold it down and make it look frumpy. I've got to go. But, oh, wait, just one more thing. Still to this day, people use that line. Just one more thing. I think that has now fallen into the vernacular of people, whether they know who Columbo is or watched it or were in his age. I think there's a certain genre and age of people that just one more thing. Just one more thing. That annoying Columbo trait of just one more thing. Just one more thing. 1979, U2 first EP is released on this day. And it's U2-3, and it's only released in Ireland. So that's why I probably never saw it. But I did see U2, I think the first time I saw U2 was 1981. I'm almost sure it was 1981. I believe it was Madison Square Garden on April the 11th. If I'm not mistaken. I'll have to look, but I'm almost sure they played, that's the date I saw them. It was definitely in April, and I thought it was April 11th. Could be wrong. I'll have to look up history and see if they played a show on that date in 1981. But I thought so. In 1982, car manufacturers could only put speedometers to a maximum speed of 85 miles an hour. I don't remember that, but I guess that's just weird, isn't it? You can only have your speedo go to 85. Now it goes to 120 at least, but I guess they thought, well, if we only make it to 85, cars won't go faster than that. Right? I mean, that's just like, if we outlaw the crossbow, that will stop all war for all time. Wishful thinking? I mean, I guess it's as always, we're really good at fixing things after they break. We're just not good at preventing them. That won't happen. ChatGPT isn't going to kill us all. Don't worry about it. It'll be fine. It's just amusing. I'm sorry. 1982, the U.S. Air Force Space Command is founded. Now, that's not Space Force, but I guess it's the precursor of it, maybe? It just sounds like it. 1982, Swordfish Trombones, Tom Waits' eighth album is released, and that's when he starts to get weird and experimental. Not that Tom Waits wasn't weird and experimental already, but that's more. 1984, What's Love Got to Do with It by Tina Turner goes number one, and it's also her first solo hit, as she's no longer with Ike. It is now just Tina Turner. I don't know what it is. 1986 something, blah, blah. I don't know what it is. Press to play. I can't do it. Anyway, 1995, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame opens in Cleveland. The Rock Hall, if you haven't been, is an impressive thing. It's great. It's our own little, slice of musical history in Ohio. This one I only put in because I don't put tons of sports, but this one's just funny. In 2007, one of the largest upsets in collegiate football history occurs when an unranked Appalachian State, in front of 109,218 fans at the University of Michigan, goes down the field, and Michigan, with 6 seconds left, goes to kick a field goal and is blocked by Appalachian State, being defeated 34-32. One of the largest upsets, they said, in football history. All right, good job with that. Go Blue. And in 2016, speaking of football, Colin Kaepernick, in a preseason game while quarterbacking the San Francisco Giants, takes a knee during the national anthem, setting off a firestorm of protest and career changes for Kaepernick. Yeah. Birthdays. Short list. Ran out of time. Edgar R. Rice Burroughs, writer of Tarzan, is born on this day. 1935, Conway Twitty is born. Now, Conway Twitty, the only reason that you might even know him, if you watch Family Guy, they do cutaways to Conway Twitty all the time. It's just one of those weird little cutaways that just kind of go, and usually they do their cutaways for way too long. They just, it's annoyingly long sometimes, but you just kind of have to, laugh at the humor of the fact that they go too far sometimes with it. But yes, Family Guy uses Conway Twitty as their cutaway often. 1939, Lily Tomlin. She started 9 to 5, The Incredible Shrinking Woman, Galaxy Glue, Galaxy Glue. 1946, Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees. There's a interesting, if you listen to the Bee Gees when they first came out, they were not very disco-y. Every Lion's Son is you have to listen to it. It's very psychedelic. But Barry is 79 today, still with us, Mr. Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees. But yeah, the Bee Gees, I mean, come on, disco. They were, if you're gonna do disco, they did disco the way it should be, at least. 1950, Dr. Phil, ass. 1957, Gloria Estefan. And that was it. I stopped because I was running out of time. So I did find a couple of people that passed on this day in history. And the only two I found that I thought were any significance that I could do within the time frame before 11 p.m. was on this day in 1803. Which I just have 183. 1833, 1830. I'll go with 1833. We'll go with that one. Sounds good. William Clark of Lewis and Clark, the Lewis and Clark expedition. And then last but not least, died 2 years ago on this day, the beach man himself, the Margarita King, Mr. Jimmy Buffett, passing away, forever leaving us behind. Now, I have a couple funny stories about Jimmy Buffett. I'm going to switch cameras for 1 second because that one's going to die. So there you go. I mean, it's not going to die. It's just going to turn off. And you know what happens when it turns off. I just, then the screen goes to black, and I sit there and complain that I wasn't paying attention. And it just looks dumb. While you're here, subscribe to Randsanity. It's right there. So I've seen Jimmy Buffett a bunch of times, and I think I told the story recently about the beer bottle incident. While going to a Jimmy Buffett concert, we took a busload of people here in Columbus. We met, I don't know, a Kroger or something. It was one of these, free bus rides, and it's sponsored by Bacardi or Corona or something of that nature. It's going to be booze in the bus. We're going to party. We're going to pre-party beforehand. You can get T-shirts and swag and all this stuff and get a bus ride, so you don't have to worry about parking or anything. And while driving to the Jimmy Buffett concert at Polaris Amphitheater, which is no longer here, but getting off at the Polaris exit, someone pushed a beer bottle out the window and hit a cop. Yes, hit a cop. So as we're driving, next thing you know, a cop car pulls in front of the bus, and the bus driver has to slam on the brakes not to hit this cop car. Now this is traffic. This is like going over the overpass of 71 to the Polaris. The cop comes running over to the bus, and he's just screaming. Cop, he opens the door and he's like, "Who's in charge?" And I'm sitting right up front, inches away from this guy, just pretty much ripped the door open, and I'm just like. He's like, "Someone's getting arrested today," and I'm just like, I am. So I basically went outside, and he's yelling and screaming. I'm like, "Okay, well, sorry, it wasn't me. I was sitting right up front." I said, let's take a deep breath here, okay? There's the kind of. Don't kill me. Don't arrest me. I'm just the messenger here. So basically, kind of was like, okay, say how so. Somebody apparently in the back, maybe in the back left side over here, right hand side over here. Maybe one of you saw something. Maybe someone accidentally let a bottle fall out the window, because it seems apparently it broke and hit the officer or whatever. So it would be great if you would just kind of get up, because someone's going to apparently have to deal with this, and it's not going to be me because I wasn't here. And then very sheepishly, a girl stands up, and she was like, eh. So of course the cops run on the thing and grab her and drag her off. Apparently she was a lawyer, and she was drunk, and she pushed the bottle out the window. She didn't come back with us, by the way. She didn't get back on the bus. We did not see her again. There was a lot of murmur, and put a little bit of a damper on the last 3 minutes of the ride from the street to the parking lot we were going. But we saw Jimmy Buffett, and it was a fine day. I think it was Jimmy Buffett, maybe. So I don't know, but was it Buffett? Ugh. Anyway, different bus trip. We went to Buckeye Lake. That's where we saw WOMAD, Lollapalooza, and a couple other things over the years. But we were going to a show, and it was going to rain. And it looked like it was going to rain. And so when we stopped to get supplies, I picked up a couple boxes of garbage bags, big garbage bags, clear ones. And I had a couple of friends that I knew on the bus with me, and I said, they were ladies, and I said, "Hey, so take these rolls of bags and just take them with you into the show." I said, "Okay, now that we're in the show," I said, "Okay, now," I said, sell them for $5 cash." I said, "They're ponchos." I said, "And you can sell them easy." I said, "Look for girls with guys." I said, "Look for couples, because he's going to be obligated to buy, and you're going to get $10. So basically, these guys went and sold the entire box of bags. And you're like, "What did we sold them all?" I'm like, "What?" I was like, "How much money?" We have $1,000. I'm like, "Okay." So I went over, and there was a vendor who had, again, the 55-gallon drum bags, a clear roll. And I was just like, "Bro," so I'll give you $50 for that. And he was like, "What is that?" "I'll give you 50. He's like, "Oh, sure, man." So I gave him $50, grabbed another roll. So they went and sold out all these bags, and $2,000 cash. Now, because I got them through, I'm not going to say nefarious, but because we got them, what's the word I want to use? The tactic I used to get them. Anyway, so what I wound up doing was I took all the money. I told everybody on the bus, I was like, "Hey, so everybody, here's what happened. I went ahead and blah." And we got all this cash. So what I'm going to do is, before we leave, everybody grab some money on your way out the door, go buy a t-shirt. You have to buy a t-shirt with it. You cannot just take the money, put it in your pocket, but I will buy everybody a t-shirt of your choice right here. So go get the t-shirts. So I basically was just like 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, and just handed like 50 people $20 bills and let everyone go get a t-shirt because of the money I made from selling the plastic bags at the show. Yes, the entrepreneurial spirit was big. It was big, big, big. But yes, so everyone got a t-shirt, and everyone got to enjoy that. And I'm not sure if that's the muddy one either. There was a couple of Buffett shows, but there was also one where I had people I knew came and they brought a friend who came in from France. And he didn't speak much English. He was very French. And again, it was a very, very muddy show at the Bucket Lake. And I mean, like, like waist deep mud, like you're like trudging through mud that was waist deep. And I remember he had his jeans on. And Sebastian, his name was Sebastian. That's it. He had his jeans on, and we were like, Sebastian, you need to cut your jeans off. And he didn't understand English, so basically someone like cut his jeans and made him into shorts. I guess that's not a French thing. French didn't wear shorts. So I heard, at a much later point, the story that Sebastian told how these crazy people took his pants and cut his pants off of him. I do have pictures. The bus was just destroyed. It was just covered in so much mud because it was a mud pit. It rained and rained and rained and rained, and there was so much mud. And I don't think that was the same show as the bags. I'm almost sure it was a different show. But yes, Jimmy Buffett and bus trips were always fun because everyone wanted to go. Everyone was always up for a big party to a Jimmy Buffett show. Even though we didn't really pay Jimmy Buffett as a musical artist for the radio station, it was just one of those things where it was a party and everyone was sort of, immediate fan, whether you liked Jimmy Buffett or not. It was just for the party and the event itself to go. Even in New Jersey, I went to Jimmy Buffett in New Jersey and saw Jimmy Buffett. I remember I thought about him today. Oddly, I'm not sure why. I think I just thought about, I'm not sure why. But anyway, one of the neighbors, one of the twins that I grew up with, we went to go to Jimmy Buffett, and I remember him saying, "Where's the food?" Jimmy's Buffett. He thought it was a buffet. Yes, that is a true story. Just like I went to a patron party, and someone with me that I used to work with, and she was like, "Where's the tequila?" We're like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, it's a Patron party." Hand to God. Hand to God. We laughed about that for years. We're going to the Patron party. Get some tequila. Patron party. It's patron, not Patron. Oh, wordplay. Ladies and gentlemen, it's wordplay. Have you seen this guy? He was in a van. He co-starred with Stephen Hay. It wasn't really co-starring as much as it was cameos, but still. I was there. So go, comment on the 9 episodes, the ones that you see me in, and be like, "Oh my God, that Randy guy's great. Every time I see him, I just want to see more. He should get fed. There should be more Randy, more Randsanity." Anyway, so that's Monday, September the 1st. Crap, I can't believe it's September the 1st already. Who knew? Anyway, it's going to be a busy week. I'm going to try and get out and go do some stuff this week besides just work. I mean, I'm going to work, but I'm going to actually have a couple of meetings and go do things. So besides that, have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday, first day of your week, short week for most. And we'll do this all again tomorrow, but completely, absolutely, and totally different. And until then, I say, Guten Abend, as you said, Guten Abend. I believe it's Guten Nacht. I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Guten Nacht. Good night. Thank you. Appreciate you. We will, in fact, fade to black. Oh, wait, I should actually turn this off. Sorry. End stream.